It's the worst of the CBC for September 13th, 2021, the show where I watch the CBC so you don't have to. And it's back. And we like to have to do standard videos because it was just so mind-numbingly terrible for me to watch this thing. I had to watch an entire Erin O'Toole press conference, then I watched them just lie about everything, and then cheer on the vaccine passports, then misrepresent the protests, and then do everything wrong. But we'll do a standard one for now. Just so you know, the biggest omission today is the CBC didn't cover the biggest news in probably all of world history. And that's a fact, and I can't believe these transphobes would do this. Canada might have its first non-binary prime minister. Erin O'Toole, yes, Erin O'Toole, says that he uses they-them pronouns. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave, and I wish I hadn't voted in advance polls so I could change my vote, because yes, Erin O'Toole and his team are suing me. Yes, he's suing me, my family, my business, anyone who says anything bad about him in the most blatant attempt to destroy freedom of speech in all of Western civilization. But he uses they-them pronouns. So I'd like to take back everything bad I've ever said about Erin O'Toole and fully endorse, I assume he's Erin O'Toole, because Z-them pronouns. I just assume he's that progressive. So Z-them, I'm Daniel, and my pronouns are Z and Zer, and I endorse Erin O'Toole, whose pronouns are they and them. Stunning and brave. And if you're not standing and clap, stop this video, stand and clap right now for how brave and stunning and brave and beautiful they-them Erin O'Toole is. Okay, pause. Now we'll get back into it. All right. Other stories. Okay, watching that entire O'Toole press conference, oh God, boring, like, okay, blah, 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 blah. He's a standard politician. The CBC attacks on him are ridiculous, okay? You want attacks on Erin O'Toole? Call me. Call me. Call me. Just call me maybe. Now, they're like, Erin O'Toole said he's going to run a positive campaign, but then he went on and said bad things about Justin Trudeau. Can we trust him? Can we trust him? Oh, the humanity! The humanity! He said mean things about Justin Trudeau. How could he? And then they show a clip of Trudeau saying mean things about him. Like, so ridiculous. Okay? You're making me defend Erin O'Toole after he just came out with his pronouns. That's how bad the CBC is. All right. And then we have the vaccine passports. They're coming in at BC, and they talk to two people who love them. Love them. We have someone who really, really likes them and thinks they're great, and someone who loves them and says, everyone I talk to says they love them too. Everyone loves them. Everyone loves them. Like, can we even pretend to do the news? Like, bring on someone who opposes them. Bring on a crazy person. Don't bring me on, who can make a coherent argument of why I got 2 vaccines but won't get a 3rd, and because of the vaccine mandates and the passports, and how you can't mandate something and forcefully coerce people when you don't have the long-term data on any of this. The civilities, blah, 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 blah. Okay, don't need me to make that point. I've made that point before. Bring on Cletus. Bring on some lunatic who is at least opposed. So at least pretend to show balance. You can't even pretend. Everyone loves vaccine passports. Everyone hates civil liberties. That's the new theme song for the CBC. Remember, Erin O'Toole's pronouns are they and them. So that just blows my mind. The second is we got to go to Ontario, where they're maligning the protest. Okay, do I support... Okay, can you protest outside a hospital? Yes, you can protest anywhere. Now, if you're protesting outside a hospital, you got to make sure you're very, very, very respectful. You cannot block an ambulance from coming in, for example, okay? That's a horrible thing to do, all right? There's someone who might have a heart attack, completely unrelated, lives are at stake. And from what I've seen, no one's blocked an ambulance, but this is the thing they're talking about potentially, okay? So they're right. You know, protesting inside the hospital is bad. Protests outside the OMA offices, the Ontario Medical Association, which said doctors are no longer allowed to dissent from anything. No more dissenting views are allowed. Protests there, protest Queen's Park, and they're saying, and Andrew Horvath is out there, why can't you protest at Queen's Park? Come to Queen's Park and protest here. Why are you at the hospitals? Oh, turns out, where were they today? Queen's Park. Turns out they actually were at Queen's Park. So we can't cover the fact that they were protesting at Queen's Park outside the legislature. Instead, we have to pretend that they're crazy people in front of the hospitals trying to murder your grandma. And so-called frontline nurses. No, those are actually nurses. Those are nurses protesting. So suddenly they're so-called nurses when they don't have the opinions they want. But when they have the opinions they want, they're actually nurses. So that's just another, like, just blatant misinformation. There was also an article in the CBC which tried to claim that Rosemary Barden was nonpartisan. That is a Lulzapalooza. And it's a great point to rate this on the Rosemary Barden scale. For those new to the worst of the CBC, the Rosemary Barden scale of bias indicates how biased an episode of CBC is. The more Rosemary Bardens you have, the more bias your broadcast. The less Rosemary Bardens, so 1 Rosemary Barden would mean that was actual news. 10 Rosemary Bardens means it was BS propaganda. Today gets 13.5 on the Rosemary Barden scale of bias. I'm literally feeling the shockwaves of the amount of bias from CBC today. The fire alarm did go off in the middle of watching the CBC. I think that was the Rosemary Barden alarm because it didn't go off that long. So just so you know, CBC, state-sponsored propaganda. None of the stories were even remotely close to the truth. And also, please vote for Erin O'Toole because his pronouns are they and them. I don't think case closed. First trans Prime Minister of Canada, Erin O'Toole. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I will see you all tomorrow. Click the stuff you like, share, subscribe, Patreon, blah, 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 blah. You get it.